It wasn't like her to get this late. No matter where she went, no matter how busy she was, she'd always make it home in time to tuck her kids to bed. She wasn't so irresponsible as to get late without so much as a call. Her eldest daughter tried calling, but her mother wasn't picking up. Was she okay? Hello everybody and welcome to our channel. Today we have the heartbreaking tale of a young mother who led a double life to support her children, but paid the ultimate price for it. Before we dig into the details, please make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and remember to click on the little bell icon so you never miss any of our interesting stories. Paige Birgfeld was a 34-year-old divorced woman and the loving mother of 3 children. Living in Grand Junction, Colorado, Paige was seen as nothing but an ideal and hardworking mother. Everything seemed peaceful in her life, but this was a time of turmoil for Paige. She had recently divorced her husband Rob. He had punched Paige while she was holding their baby and had threatened her on multiple occasions. Adding to that, Rob had made some poor business decisions and declared bankruptcy when the couple divorced, leaving Paige to ensure the financial security of her children. In addition to the daily expenses of raising 3 children, Paige also had to deal with debts and mortgage payments left behind by her husband. To keep up with all of this, Paige tried to find work, any work. She would have 2 or 3 jobs if she had to, if it meant that her children would be able to live a good life. After working in many jobs for some time, Paige finally managed to establish her own business. After her marriage to Rob had fallen apart, Paige had reached out to her first husband, Rob Bagler. She was her very first love, and had always been a dear friend with her. When things smoothed out a bit, the two decided to meet up again. Paige was excited to meet Rob. It had been so long since the last time they had met, and she had so much to tell him. Little did she know that this was the last time she was going to see him, or anyone else for that matter. That day was nothing short of amazing for Paige. It was comforting to see Ron's familiar face, and to let their chat easily flow. Before they knew it, the evening had arrived, and night approached. As much as Paige loved being in his company, she had to go home to put her kids to bed. They were her priority. She got in her car, waved at Ron, and made her way back home. A few miles from her home, she called Ron at around 9 PM to let him know that she was back home safely. Her 8-year-old daughter and her 6- and 3-year-old sons were up waiting for her. The night was getting darker, and their mother had yet to return. She would usually let them know when she was going to be late, and she never missed their bedtime. It was 11 PM. The little boys had dozed off, but Paige's daughter was still up, waiting for her mother to come home. She called her over and over again, eager to hear her mother's voice, but she never got anything but her voicemail. Morning came and the kids rushed to their mother's room as soon as they woke up. Still no sign of her. Thankfully, their nanny had stayed the night. They tried calling Paige again with no luck, and decided that it was time to alert the police. The police first thought that Paige had simply grown tired of her hectic life and left her kids and her messy life behind for good. But Paige's father soon put these assumptions to rest when he told the police if Paige had 2 broken legs, she would crawl on her elbows to get to those kids. Everyone was scared to admit it, but there was clearly something sinister going on. The police contacted Rob since he was the last person to see her, but he was worried as they were and had a solid alibi. Then they turned to her most recent ex. He had threatened her before, after all, but he too had a solid alibi and was shocked at Paige's disappearance. The police were baffled. How could a person just disappear without a trace? 3 days after she had disappeared, the police finally found a clue, but what they found shocked them beyond belief. They managed to locate Paige's car. Her red Ford was found in an abandoned parking lot, and it was burning. The officers rushed to put out the fire. As soon as it was out, they looked inside the car, praying to see Paige still alive. But to their dismay, the car was empty. They hit a dead end again. Her phone and bag were also missing. This led the police to believe that Paige got out the car intentionally and that she was alive somewhere. Search parties scoured the area for any sign of the missing mother. More than 100 citizens came together to find even the smallest clue of Paige's whereabouts. Meanwhile, the police dug deeper into Paige's life, hoping to find a clue. They looked through her phone records and found that the last number she had called was an unknown number. The number was traced to a man called Jim, and the strangest part was that he denied knowing anything about Paige. This made the police more suspicious since he had called her several times through a burner phone. After some investigations, The officers found that Jim was actually a married man named Lester Jones, and he even worked near the parking lot to where Paige's car was found. Then another question arose. Why was Paige receiving calls from a strange person in the first place? Was there something dark going on in her life? The police started investigating Paige, trying to see if she had any secrets that would explain her disappearance. That's how they found her double life. No one expected that she would be leading such a life behind everyone's back. As it turns out, Paige earned some extra cash by providing escort services. She worked as the only employee at a business called Models Inc., where she went by the name of Carrie. This explains the strange calls in her phone records, and it also explained why she was in touch with Jim. The police then uncovered several escort advertisements of Paige under the name Carrie. To say that Paige's friends and family would be an understatement. No one knew that she snuck out at night to provide escort services after putting her kids to bed. Of course, no one had a way of figuring out Paige's reasons for this. She was knee-deep in debt after her divorce. She was stressed out and in mental turmoil, that her marriage had collapsed. It was later revealed that Lester Jones had received a naked photo from Paige. The authorities believed that whatever happened to Paige, it happened right after she went to Lester's escort call. The police found out different files Lester maintained on the escorts he called. The files outlined their details to a disturbing extent. Lester was now the prime suspect. But Lester continued to deny any connection to Paige, and since there was no body or any other evidence of Paige, the investigation and evidence against him was purely circumstantial. It was not going to bring a conviction for Lester, nor was it going to help find Paige. It seemed that despite all their life-changing investigation results, Paige was still lost. Years passed, and with no sign of Paige until 2012, the family received the horrifying truth that they'd been dreading to hear. Paige's remains were found. The skeletal remains suggested that she was duct-taped and beaten, but the exact cause of death remained a mystery. Jones went on trial for Paige's murder, but was released when the jury came back hung. However, during a second trial, Lester himself admitted to the murder. For the kidnapping and murder, Lester was sentenced to life with no chance of parole. What do you think about Paige's death and life? Let us know in the comments below, and make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing videos. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.